Is Nvidia still about $89?
Yes, for everyone who said it didn't come to that, it's been a week. You should have listened when I told you 94 the last 17 damn times, okay? Give us some time. Trump is going to do something. It's going to fall back. And at one point, we're in year 5. At what point will y'all go quit questioning me? Respectfully and humbly, right? Because before it was Nvidia's never going to 95, and now you missed out, and it's like, when's 89 going to hit? Why won't you just invest the levels that I tell you for free? Because we technically, you put any price I call, we could put that behind a paywall.
No, I mean, intraday got there. It was there.
86. They got to 86.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, did they miss it?
Not 86. 96.
No, intraday.
Intraday, 96.
Yeah, got to 86.
April 4th. They got to $93.
Okay, go to
on the 7th. I went to 86.62. That was a low.
Yeah.
On what day?
The 7th.
On the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if you look at the 52-week low this year, right? So if you go from a year out, look at the 52-week low for it.
75.
So I'm saying,
but that was months ago. That was a long time ago.
In that order.
During this market
run,
during this market,
it got down to 86.
I think it's 93.
That's why it probably closed that. But intraday, I saw it at 86.
Yeah, 86.62 was the low.
So you missed it. So you're gonna ask now, is 110 a goodbye?
Listen the first time, yeah. And I'm giving it out for free. I'm in the opposite of Kramer. Shout out to Kramer. He was incredibly kind when I met him, but the opposite of.
Yeah. I still, so like the move that they made today, even it being at 110, if you look at every analyst, if you look at its target for end of year, that has not moved. It's still at 165 to 170.
My target above that. My target for Nvidia in the year is 187.
I'm just the average. I'm giving you the average.
Yeah.
Some people have gone as high as 200.
You got to be bullish. But the thing about the analysts is that they just make up numbers too. That's the one thing that you learn over the course of time.
That's true.
Rashad, let's talk. Let's wake it up.
That's true. But that's why I don't. But what you're saying is true. And it benefits them to do those things. What I'm saying is that out of 40, I'm gonna take the average. What's the consensus of that? All right, yeah, this guy's. Why is he saying 200? Why is this guy saying 130? Let's take a consensus of the average of 60 analysts, right? And then
hey, what price the analysts give y'all that was going to drop to 3 months prior to?
But we can go there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that hasn't moved.
But then also, yeah, the analysts, they just say anything. But then also what's important to understand too, like I always say, if the economy is down, it doesn't matter. That's the variable that nobody, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, none of that matters if Trump decides to put a 30% tariff on all chips. It's going to have a negative impact. And we've seen this in real time.
Emergency episode.
One person tanked the stock market. Not
globally.
Not the technicals, not the fundamentals, not anything.
Yeah.
One person has a personal vendetta against the world, and that alone tanked the stock market. So you got to think long term. So the numbers are one thing, but I just don't want people to get caught up in like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna invest here, and then it's going to get to 30% in 12 months. Because just invest at a good price and hold it.
Yeah, I think the tariff. That's why I said this announcement that they had is kind of significant in the sense that, and we've seen Nvidia when they make announcements, they always say 12 to 15 months, which means they probably are going to be able to do it in 8 to 10. Right, like they're just going to put that out there. So if they're saying like they can get these data centers up and running in the next 8 to 10 months, then a tariff doesn't have the same impact on that company, right? Because they're saying they're manufacturing their chips here. They're not going to China. Now, the tariffs will affect other companies, but Nvidia, if we're specifically one we're talking about, it changes things for them. The other part of it is like what we could really lead to is international conflict, which could lead to any type of war. That's a global. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
What I'm saying the tariffs is just one thing.
It's one column.
Yeah, economic uncertainty at any, like Mark Zuckerberg goes to court. If he loses this case, Meta's going to be screwed. So there's variables that go into play for the broader economy that have impacts on stocks that nobody can predict. Nobody could have predicted
No.
So you got a
I
global
predicted the price
pandemic.
before the tariffs came.
You said what?
I predicted the prices before the tariffs came.
I mean, for sure. That's why you should be in Stock Club. IanInvest.com.
It's my guy, yeah.
Go there now. Go there
Yep.
now.
IanInvest.com.
Yeah.
But so the
Yep.
point is that be a long-term investor. That's
For
important
sure.
because even with the options, like I said, like if you have longer, that's helpful because in the short term, everything could be perfect and then something happens and it just ruins the day that nobody planned for.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're kind of saying the same thing. It won't be one. It could be one thing, or it could be a mixture of a few things.
But those analysts just say anything, and
well,
they
the majority. There are a few that are good. But the majority,
don't do that.
A vast majority of
a lot of them
have underperformed. No, a vast majority of hedge fund managers underperform the S&P 500. This is a historic fact. They get 20% to underperform the S&P 500. What is that? How does that make sense? You became a billionaire from charging people 20% of your gains, and you're doing less than if somebody was in VOO or S&P 500. That's a fact. Another thing is that, a lot of these guys just are saying things for the media and just saying things, and then those things don't actually work out at all. So
I'm just saying that we can't say all of them.
A lot of them.
Some of them, right? Because not only do they make it, but they just don't throw out the price. They actually give you the fundamental breakdown of
don't
why.
be mad. That should be capped.
You can't say it doesn't matter. It's not always capped.
A lot of it is capped. A lot of it is capped. That's a fact. It ain't 2008. What happened?
It's not all capped.
A lot of it is capped. Because if it wasn't capped, they would be able to navigate these things a lot better.
And there's only a few.
Warren Buffett is able to navigate the situation.
Jim Simon, he can be medallion fund has done great.
Anybody's capable of being wrong, but I'm saying they've been historically wrong.
Can we stop saying that? That's not true. I proved that shit for the last 10 years. That's not true. You can predict it. But when the prediction is given, it's a lot of fucking backlash on when and where.
Let me
told y'all they was gonna reproduce fucking pterodactyls. No, what do you know? Okay, here we are. Dire wolf, woolly mammoth next year. They got a no limit rollout with the new animals. The market is easy to predict if you're looking at what they're investing. I told them Bitcoin was going to be taken over by the banks. You don't know. You're not a crypto expert. You all don't have enough money to be saying the shit y'all be saying.
All right, so here's the asterisk to that statement, right? With the person who's leading the country now, with the level of uncertainty, this is not, you can't predict this, right? We don't, because you don't know tomorrow. Like literally, he could put something tonight in a tweet, and it changes everything tomorrow. Right now,
over a day-to-day basis, no. But even in a great exercise in ChatGPT or
your long-term plan, you can predict.
Yeah. If you look at the succession of his deals, how long a company or brand under him has run, you can extract some data points for volatility in his decision making. But it's easier to talk on Instagram than it is to get your ass in there and model. There's a few people at the mastermind who hit me like, yo, I took some of Detroit stuff, I took some New York stuff, I put them together with Trump. So you can get a framework. That's the word of the day.
There you go.
Framework. You can't predict it, but day to day is tough. But framework, you can for sure build.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, when a person called that Moody's was on in 2008, even with Bernard Madoff, it was a lot of people signaling that there was some things awry in that office.
Bernie Madoff.
But did people want to hear it?
No. Alan Greenspan, all those guys.
Yeah.
That's a fact, though. All right.
But what do we do?
Well, before we leave, let's do this. If somebody has $1.2 million to invest right now, should they use a 2-Tech-2 index strategy or other stocks to make up their portfolio?
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna talk like it's just us in the room. I'm gonna go Visa V first, Nvidia, TSM, and VO. My boy, let me get 20% of whatever you get over the next 5 years. Okay. Big I. So Visa, TSM, Nvidia, VOO, you'll be A-okay. I don't think Visa's talked about enough as a powerhouse in tech We were talking about this on Stock Club call. Did people realize that Visa does like damn near 81% of all transactions on the globe?
That was one of my slides, man. I did it.
My
I
bad.
did a whole
Great
thing
minds
about
with this.
Visa
Now
years
it's
ago.
closing the information, right?
Yeah. That's a fact. So
They don't get enough credit because they don't have a famous CEO. We had the pleasure of meeting him at a certain location. Oh man, things could have been so much different this year. But because they don't have a rock star CEO like Jensen or Elon, that may hurt them. But in terms of how the business is run, in terms of the financial services space, I don't think there's a company that has been run better.
yeah, I mean, you see it when you travel. You go some
Everywhere.
places, you will hear, we don't accept American Express.
Yeah.
Do you
And
have
tech,
Visa?
and tech, it's a lot talked about networking effect. They have mastered the network effect to a T globally.
That's a fact.